Hear ye, gather round for another edition of Young Kings Wrestling, featuring the Summer Soundboard. As always, you can find us on most platforms streaming your favorite podcast episodes, including Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. If you're listening on a platform that allows you to, please leave us a review of the 5-star kind. Subscribe to us on YouTube at YK Wrestling. Links to all the platforms and merchandise available at YKWrestling.com. Welcome back to the Nuck If You Buckingham Palace. As always, I am the thespian TC Fontaine, aka TCF Baby. Please say the baby. Joined by King Reek, House of Havoc, first of his name, and Mr. 24/7 Malik Ricks, as we set to pay tribute to the 3-time world champion in WWE, Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, aka The Fiend, who tragically passed away late this past week at the age of 36. Now, we're not in the business of sad tributes and all that type of stuff, so we just jumped into the DeLorean and combed through some of the archives. So throughout this episode, you'll hear clips of past conversations revolving around Bray Wyatt, including the Firefly Funhouse match from WrestleMania 36, as well as Bray Wyatt's release and subsequent return to the WWE at Extreme Rules last year. And we can't forget about the controversial Universal title match from Hell in a Cell 2019. But don't worry, guys, we'll be back next week. We're going to be back with another one next week. Don't worry, but we're going to just dwell further next week into Bray Wyatt's career, as well as the career of Hall of Famer Terry Funk, who also passed away this past week. We'll provide more insight into the legacies of these two legends, as well as WWE Payback, which is coming up next weekend. And we can't forget about AEW's exciting weekend in London too. So should be a lot lighter next week, if you know what I mean. But once again, please check us out at YKWrestling.com. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube at YK Wrestling. Until then, please enjoy the best of Bray Wyatt from the Young Kings Wrestling Podcast.
All right, this next match, if you can call it that, this one, yeah, Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt, John Cena. Man, I watched this like 4 times. Like, I kept going back and watching it, just analyzing it. What it wasn't like a match, but it was like probably one of the best storytelling matches ever. Not even being, hyperbolic at all, but I think it was probably one of the best ones ever. I seen a post here. It says this match was based on all of John Cena's worst fears. His bad debut, his past as a bodybuilder, him as a rapper. They had a callback. I'm gonna go through the callbacks actually. All the callbacks they had during this segment. I'm gonna try to go in order. They had a callback to John Cena's debut. So he goes into the funhouse and he comes out for the match, and he's in his old trunks, like he's with the same walk, ruthless aggression. And Bray Wyatt is portraying Kurt Angle in this sense. He calls out somebody who's like, "Who wants to challenge Bray Wyatt?" Here comes John Cena with his old gear on. And he goes to, take a swing at Bray, and he can't get him. And Bray ends up singing the Bella theme song. You can look, but you can't touch. Like that got me going crazy. There was also a reference to when the Mega Powers united at a Saturday night's main event for the first time back in the day. And so the direction that this story took was that John Cena was just this era's Hulk Hogan in a good and bad way. Like we know like he's the Hulk Hogan, he's the big face, he's the name, but like there was a bunch of reference to John Cena having a Hulk Hogan sized ego, and so there was multiple Hogan references here. After that, he turns into the Doctor of Thugonomics, and he can only talk to Bray Wyatt in rhyme. And after that, there was actually a line he said, unlike Husky Harris, there's a weight I can manage. And all the kids in the funhouse were like, oh, and Bray Wyatt's just like, oh, that hurt. Like, why do you have to say that? There was a D's Nuts reference, John Cena pulls out the pack of peanuts. You remember that when he was rapping? He was just like, he had the peanuts and he just threw it at the dude. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Elias last year at WrestleMania. There was a callback to WrestleMania 30 with the creepy cult leader version of Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
And he goes and tries to do the Sister Abigail. He's like, nah, that's too easy. Like, you remember you didn't hit me with that chair 6 years ago at WrestleMania? Like, you can right this wrong, hit me with that chair. And John Cena does not hesitate to try to hit him with the chair, but Bray Wyatt vanishes. One thing I want to note about that was this, because this whole segment was really just, Bray Wyatt exposing John Cena for not being as good of a guy as people like to make him out to be, right? So when he gave John Cena the chair at WrestleMania 30, he doesn't use it. Why doesn't he use it? Because he's in front of 75,000 people, and that's not his character. In the funhouse, he in front of nobody, so he gonna hesitate to use it in the funhouse. So that's another way of him exposing, like, yeah, you really just a piece of shit coward. That's basically what Bray Wyatt was saying. It was pretty cool. And afterwards, Bray Wyatt comes out imitating Eric Bischoff during an episode of the NWO Monday Nitro back in the day. I want to say it was back in 1997. And he imitates Eric Bischoff introducing the NWO. Out comes John Cena wearing an NWO shirt with the big gold belt. The big gold belt main event at WrestleMania. Well, didn't main event, but it was on WrestleMania again for the first time since 2014.
Bring it back.
Yeah, we need that big gold back, big gold belt back in our lives, man.
Thank you.
So he comes out and this is yet another Hulk Hogan reference, but this is Hulk Hogan as a heel. And it kind of was showing that, look, like the heights you could have took this business if you turned heel, but you were afraid of that because you had to live up to this standard of the good guy, John Cena, the one that makes wishes and all this. But as he's coming out, doing the air guitar with the belt and everything, we have the puppet version of Mr. McMahon, aka Mr. McBossman, on commentary, says the line of the night, the most self-aware I've seen Vince McMahon be in a while. It's such good shit. If you don't know what that is, it's a reference to John Moxley's interview on the Talk is Jericho podcast back, I want to say last May or June. It's been a meme. It's been a really overplayed meme on the internet, but so it was good to see Vince McMahon make some fun of it. And also had a reference to John Cena's promo in the Performance Center a few weeks back with Bray Wyatt. What was the promo? He said, I'm going to do what should have been done 6 years ago, put an end to the most overhyped, overprivileged superstar in existence. He was referring to Bray Wyatt, but it was really just him talking about himself. So that was pretty cool. And at the end, he vanishes because you can't see John Cena. And Bray Wyatt ends up, the Fiend rather, ends up getting the win with Bray Wyatt as a special guest referee. So this was trippy, man. Like this whole thing was trippy. It reminded me of like Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit. So I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, I watched it about 4 times and just dissected it because that's just the film head in me. I gotta dissect stuff that of this magnitude, and this is an A+ match / segment for me. What about you guys?
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I'm a little long-winded, but
oh man, yeah, you just added some stuff I didn't even think about. Oh, nah, I give this the omnipotent A+, because I mean, there's so many. There's no one takeaway. There's so many things to dissect about this because this is like I said before. Bray Wyatt is a literal genius. Like that in terms of creative. I mean, I don't think I've seen a better mind than his in the modern day. I mean, he exposed, just put on display kind of like a hypocrisy in John Cena almost, because, like you said, with what happened at WrestleMania 30, all of a sudden now it's like, okay, he's ready to take that swing. And, he's cutting these promos on Bray, but it's like, it's almost like he's trying to bury him, something that he talks about all the time that he never does. I'm not the person with the golden shovel, but it's like, well, he just showed it to everyone else in the world. Like, yeah, this is what you do. And that ending, that they replayed, the most overhyped superstar and everything like that, and he just hits him with that move there. It's like, he says it right before all this starts. He's like, the biggest rival, the most dangerous opponent that you had to face is yourself. And he takes you on this trip, but you also kind of taking on Bray's trip too. It's like you kind of reading his diary almost.
Mm-hmm.
You just flipping through pages and everything like that, and then it takes you on this trip with John Cena that they kind of interject. And what's really surprising is like how well they work together on this. You think you never seen Cena this transparent with him working with someone else. So that was really dope to see. But I mean, there's so much to cut up on it. Like I gotta watch it again. Honestly, I've only seen it that one time, the one go through. So I gotta go back and watch it again because now you told me all this stuff that caught me. But I mean, this was first off, shout out to Matt Hardy for doing this first.
Shout out to Matt,
because I know him and the two of them got together and put some ideas together. They brainstormed, and he definitely had a part in this. But I mean, dude, I'm telling y'all now, give Bray all the titles, man. All the titles to just run with it. Because this dude, like, stole WrestleMania weekend with this. This was, like, a masterpiece. And we can't do it again. This is one time only. You know what I'm saying? But he killed it.
And but before we go to Malik, I just want to have one more thing that I noted as well. So as John Cena is the NWO version, and he just finally like kind of figures he's snapping out of it, right? He goes and attacks Bray. He's just like on top of him, just like beating him, punching him, and then he ends up transforming into Huskus the pig. But during the whole time he's punching him, it's just like flashes on the screen of like moments from John Cena's career in the past where the crowd was against him. One Night Stand versus RVD, Money in the Bank, CM Punk, Edge, when Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank the first time. They showed Randy Orton in the TLC ladder match that he beat John Cena in back in 2013 to unify the championships. They showed John Cena defeated and just sitting on the ramp at WrestleMania after he lost to The Rock. And then they showed him, versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And then they showed him after he lost to Roman Reigns a few years back at, I want to say it was No Mercy. So they showed all these, they flashed them all on screen. It was just like everything coming back. It was like, yo, the crowds never really fuck with you. You've always been the bad guy. So, you know, as much as you contrary to your belief, like you've always been the bad guy. So that was just something else I caught. But Malik, what would you get a grade?
Man, A+, A+, man. I love this. This is something we've never seen before. You can't do this with everybody. You know what I mean? Not too many people you could do this type of segment with. This kind of makes me bad about this Goldberg beating the Fiend for the title, because if I knew it would have been like this, I would have ultimately kept the title on the Fiend, right?
He didn't need the title though.
No, I would have kept the title on the Fiend, and I would have had him have a match against Braun Strowman, right? And we gonna compare him to Hulk Hogan. Remember when Hulk Hogan came out when Brett beat Yokozuna?
WrestleMania 9.
And they were just like, why is he in the match? I would have had something like that. Have after he beats Braun, have Vince come out, add John Cena to the match for no reason, and then like all this happens. Like I don't, I just think of different stuff because, yeah, this is something completely different, and yeah, will we ever see it again? I'm sure we will see something.
We will, and I got a few more things, but finish your thought. And
I'm like, who I'm thinking of other people you do it with. Maybe the Undertaker.
I got the perfect person.
Who?
Randy
Keith Orton.
Oh,
because that's
burned down the crib.
Yeah, he's the only other person who has wronged Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
Aside from John Cena, he burnt down his compound, and also the last time Bray Wyatt got like a push before the Fiend, he was WWE champion. Who beat him at WrestleMania? Randy Orton. So it's a perfect thing for him. I also want to note, as far as Goldberg is concerned, I think this was actually perfect. I think it, for how mad everybody was that Goldberg lost. I mean, Goldberg won the title initially from the Fiend. It worked out in the end. Like, I don't think you could have this.
It worked out for the Fiend, and it worked out for Goldberg too much.
Nah, he still ended up losing anyway, but for sure. And also, shout out to Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are still friends in kayfabe on social media. Like their characters are still friends for real. Like they embraced each other after the match. It was pretty dope.
They do what they want.
Hey,
but this is another thing. When Bray is done with his career and he's retired, just like Matt Hardy, these are the producers we need. I like all these mid-card guys that WWE has brought in as producers, but we need guys like this. This is the guys we want to see. These are the guys who will take the business to the next level for the next generation. So, yes.
Replicate yourself.
Yes. So just remember little things like this, please.
So we get our first match, man, announced earlier in the day. Randy Orton and The Fiend going head to head. And I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just take my piece first. Randy Orton gets the win here. Pretty underwhelming rather contest. But I gave it a C just because I got really hyped when the Fiend came out the Jack in the Box. I got hella hype. Randy Orton was wearing white. Never seen Randy Orton wear white before. I think this past week, last week's show, or maybe the week before that, I said the Fiend was gonna come back to his old form, and I told y'all niggas, y'all thought I was playing, but I told y'all niggas. I told y'all he was gonna return back to form, had that movie magic. But the red lights are back, so I don't know how people feel about that. The finish though is what I want to talk about. The finish, it was weird, but I think we're past Randy Orton now, and this is more about Alexa becoming too powerful to where she's out here just kind of ruining the Fiend, and so I think that's where they're going next. But I feel like is this weakening the Fiend? What do you guys feel? I think
Well,
Reek,
I don't know.
Reek got something to say. Reek or Matt, which one of y'all want to go first?
Before we even get to that, I need you to drop the track.
That's what I had to ask. Who wants to go first?
Yeah. I'm gonna let Matt go first. He's our our guest host. I'm gonna let him go first, but I need you to drop that track because this is gonna.
I'm upset.
This is Daniel Bryan's fault, and I'm going to tell you why this is Daniel Bryan's fault. WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan weaseled himself into a triple threat match. That is the first time WWE truly broke my heart when the Undertaker's streak was broken. Now, 7 years later, he weasels himself into another triple threat. And they do this to The Fiend. Listen, the entire story that they were telling with The Fiend was redemption. The Fiend exists solely to redeem the losses and the hurt that Bray Wyatt has received. They have played this out for 6 months now. All he had to do was go out there and win. And I was hyped from the transformation to the Jack in the Box, all the way up until Randy really hit that first kick and The Fiend sold that kick. Once he started dropping those DDTs, I was like, this is not going well. I don't like where this was going. I want to see The Fiend come out and crush Randy after lighting him on fire and melting him and all of this shit that we've been building and waiting. There's a thing in Chicago. It's called the Curse of the Goat. And Daniel Bryan is most well-known as a goat. That's the one animal that he is most resonating with. That I truly feel like he is just an affront to me. Both times he has weaseled himself into a main event at WrestleMania and made it a triple threat. They have broken my heart. I don't like the idea that we move past Randy because The Fiend has not successfully defeated Randy. The Fiend has not got his comeuppance from losing his title at WrestleMania. For having Sister Abigail's chair burned, for being lit on fire. All of the shit Randy's done, we've got nothing from it. This was the biggest fucking letdown, and I was so hyped for this shit. This was the one match I was really, really, really looking forward to because it's, as a horror movie fan and a wrestling fan, it's so in my wheelhouse. And I'm like, yes, we're going to get this. And then they just shit all over us. And if we move away from Randy, or even if we can, why continue it? We've been doing this for how long now? Like, I'm disappointed. And I'm giving this whole thing a fucking F.
You got a rant, Reek, or can I?
Yes.
Let me get this out first. Can I get it out first?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So my terms on the match, pretty much, what Matt said. Me personally, rather that would have still happened and Randy beat The Fiend. What the fuck ever. At this point, it's about redemption. Nigga, you set me on fire. I want to kill you. This is not about a 1, 2, 3 anymore. This is about you almost took my life. The Fiend being who The Fiend is, kayfabe, he's been through a lot in his life. You could tell that got him that place. Mm-hmm. And setting me on fire is just going to lit me up more. What they could have done is, after that happened, he got the quick roll up, whatever, cool, pin, whatever. Fiend attacks Randy. They fight into a backstage area. Boom, into a cinematic thing where somehow The Fiend tries to kill Randy. And successful or not, whatever, but this is WrestleMania. We don't need any more what's going to happen next in this storyline. No, this is supposed to be the season finale. This is WrestleMania. This is where this shit's supposed to end. Like this WrestleMania backlash shit, I don't want to see a whole bunch of rematches. I'm sorry. But anyway, yes, this is where it's supposed to end. They dropped the ball with this one. I understand we're going to let it play out, but like Matt said, fuck this. And yeah, whatever. Mr. Havoc.
I told TC in the text that they had till the end of the night to fix this shit or give me an explanation. Otherwise, I'm going to go off. So now I'm going to go off. First and foremost, this gets an F minus. And I'm going to go somewhere a little bit different because Matt said, yes, F minus. Matt said a lot of what I'm going to go with, but I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction. The Fiend, like he said, existed because of the arc of redemption, right? It's about all of Bray Wyatt's failures, turning him into The Fiend's successes. You dropped the ball with Bray Wyatt, so that now you had to bring up the Fiend. But if we go back and just roll the clock back a little bit further, we remember that they dropped the ball with the Fiend when he first started. He came out of SummerSlam, and he was so hot that they put him right into a Universal title feud with Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. What happened at Hell in a Cell? They stopped the match. The match ain't supposed to end unless somebody gets pinned or submits. They stopped the match in the worst finish in that type of match, in that gimmick match that I've ever seen in my life, that we've all ever seen at this point in time. Mick Foley went through the cell, and that didn't stop the match. But you stopped it because Seth stacked a whole bunch of household items on top of the Fiend and smacked it with a sledgehammer. That was the first time you dropped the ball with the Fiend. That's not supposed to happen again. That was their one misstep. You had one chance to screw this up, and that was it. We let him go because at the end of the day, the Fiend went on to Saudi Arabia, won the Universal title, all was right in the world again. So when Randy set him on fire at TLC, Matt was mad then, and I said, you know what? This is going to WrestleMania. That's what this is. He's going to take a time off. They're gonna do something with his image, his character. He comes back all burnt and melted and shit. Okay, it's all leading to WrestleMania. He's going to win. You went as far as to turn Alexa into possessed, undead, whatever the hell she is. We had Randy spitting up demon seed on national television. You got satanic worshiping undead revival shit going on TV. You had all of this, these bells and whistles to bring out the imminent threat of the Fiend to finally kill Randy Orton. This woman said Randy Orton was going to die. She said that man was going to die on national television, on USA Network. She said, Randy, the legend killer, is going to die. And you brought him out in this giant Jack in the Box as if to say, on Christmas Day, here is your brand new Fiend, enjoy. And he fucking lost. Why did we do this? Why did we bother? Why did we spend all these time and resources and creating this build? One of the few matches at WrestleMania that actually had a build that was worth investing into. And you went in there, the red lights I don't care for. The match went too long. They didn't even acknowledge that he almost punted Randy. But it's like that you went too long with the match. When he jumped off that box and straight attacked Randy, I thought, okay, this is going to be a quick squash the way it should be. And then it dragged, and I said, okay, this ain't good. This is not good at all. But I would forgive it if Fiend wins. He didn't win. Whatever the hell went on with Alexa, I don't know what this is supposed to be. If you're going to tell me that Alexa is either A, controlling the Fiend, or B, turning on the Fiend, then once again, you have wasted months of my time. I don't like my time wasted. So bundle all of that together in one big ass box. That gives you your F. The result gives you your minus. I'm over this shit. I don't care how good a year Randy had. I don't care how good a year Randy had. This wasn't the way to go. I'm sorry.
I got two things to add. One, Reek, thank you for reminding me. This is not only the curse of the GOAT, but Reek's fault as well. Because when I knew this was some bullshit, back when the Fiend got lit on fire, Reek did everything he could to convince me it's going to be okay. Just wait till WrestleMania. It's going to be okay. And I did, and I fell into a false sense of security, and I got fucked. Pornhub style. First match of WrestleMania, because Reek convinced me that I was safe and secure and everything was going to be okay. Second thing, the only way I can see them even trying to redeem this is if they say that Alexa allowed the Fiend to be burned, trapped the Fiend so that she could drain his power, and
that's what I think. That's what I think they're going with it.
But also, it doesn't fix my issue with Randy Orton just getting away scot-free after all the fucked up shit he did. Like, that doesn't fix that. So
you know what?
They could have waited to another feud that went on, and you could have threw him in the Universal title again or WWE title again, and that could have been the thing that set him off. Where it's like Alexis just to take advantage of that. He's taking all his power. She could have won the championship again too.
This seals the deal. We are definitely going to do the trial of Randy Orton. And like this ain't even on him because whoever booked this needs to be shot. But we're definitely gonna do the trial of Randy Orton because for everything, this is probably the most egregious crime out of all of them. And I'm not forgiving. I'm sorry.
They could have had Randy lose and had Alexa bring out somebody new to attack the Fiend and take the Fiend out. I'm even going to say some shit that you will never hear me say. They could have brought out Aleister Black from SmackDown and moved him to Raw, and I wouldn't have said shit. I would have shut the fuck up and let Aleister Black and Alexa Bliss be a thing and have Aleister Black mask the shit out of the Fiend, and I would have been like, okay, I'm good with this. And I would have shut the fuck up about where he came from and all of my past, I wouldn't have said shit. I would have been like, all right, you did something right here. I'll let this one slide. But no, Randy just ran away in his little white tighty whities, all happy. I won, and the Fiend looked like an idiot. We can move on. I know we waited way too long on this.
They should have really had the Fiend put Randy through the ring. Like after he lost, slam him through the ring. I've been seeing both companies with AEW and WWE. They've missed a lot of opportunities with one person just going through that ring. You could start something great here, but that's another story. That's another topic for another time.
Yeah. And then our main event, swamp fight at the Wyatt compound. Bray Wyatt, OG Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman.
Drink 8. Whoa, he's finished the glass.
He just filled the glass. You didn't like this one? I actually like this match. Like I didn't like the fact that Braun Strowman got the main event a pay-per-view as champion before Drew, but
yeah,
I enjoyed the segment. It's building to Mania. I mean not Mania, but SummerSlam. What you guys say, man? I'm gonna speak my piece after you, man.
You want me to dish on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here's the deal. I've been saying this for a while, and this, I'm gonna be clear, this has nothing to do with Bray, because Bray creatively is a genius, and if this were anybody else, I would have loved it. I don't buy into Braun no more. I just don't. It's none of this was clicking with me for Braun. Like he's been going through too many shifts in his character, from being, the black sheep thing where he was quiet, just beating everybody up. Then he goes solo, and then he went through 2 more iterations of that character. Now this whole thing with the Universal title, and he's not clicking with me right now, So the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just like, yo, just swap Braun for somebody else because I'm not feeling it. Bray was good. Bray was great. You know what I'm saying? He did what he does. I'm not worried about that. But I'm just not buying this with Braun anymore. I'm really not. Like this, the dude is just like, one of the big giant, the stereotypical big giant guy that doesn't have, depth anymore. I'm just, that's not working for me anymore. It's really not.
Let me counterpoint that, man, because at the end of this match, Bray won, drowns Braun in the swamp, and then pops out as the Fiend. So if we know the history of the Fiend, once you get ate up by the Fiend, like your whole thing changes. So I think this is a reset on the Braun Strowman character going forward. I enjoyed it though. It was kind of like Friday the 13th, the first one, the very first Friday the 13th that didn't have Jason. It was kind of like that.
I did like that callback to Alexa though.
Yeah, like the Alexa Bliss callback was really good. Long-term situations where Braun sees Sister Abigail as Alexa Bliss, Team Little Big in the mixed match challenge. They're really good friends, and so it was kind of like Braun basically got thirst trapped by an Alexa Bliss vision, and it was really interesting. I enjoyed the dialogue, man. I think it's really building up to something. We show that Braun couldn't lose to Bray Wyatt at Money in the Bank, and it was kind of like, I'm not gonna go into the full, nuances and everything like I did with the Funhouse match at Mania, but it's just what I observed. I watched the match back right before we hopped on, and I'm just watching it. I'm like, man, this is some decent storytelling because Braun, he was pretty stubborn, at Money in the Bank. Like he wasn't gonna do his thing, but he ends up seeing the old version of himself when he first gets to the swamp. We got the OG Bray Wyatt. He sees Alexa Bliss, and it's kind of similar to what the Funhouse match was. It actually kind of makes me think this took place in the Funhouse, kind of like the match with John Cena took place in the Funhouse. Because y'all saw that Braun Strowman promo on Friday, right?
This is the only thing I didn't like about it, right? If he cuts that promo in the ring, like after the match or before the match, fine. But he cut it as like he's going down to the ring with Miz and Morrison. It's like he's talking to them. It's like that wasn't making sense to me.
Yeah.
Like if you was going off like that, okay, you just got the ring to yourself, cool. It just as he's going down, it's like it sounds like you shouting at them. So that didn't make no sense. Like he was like losing it almost.
Yeah, I like the promo. It's kind of like, man, this dude done lost his mind, and it's kind of like he was in the Funhouse already. Like Bray really took control of his mind. So now, we had Funhouse Bray at Money in the Bank, and now we had OG Bray Wyatt, the cult leader, defeating Braun Strowman, and now it's time for the Fiend for the rubber match. So SummerSlam is going to be interesting, man. That segment I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as a Funhouse. It wasn't as good as a Boneyard. I don't think anything's gonna be as good as a Boneyard match. But it was cool for what it was. I just think the fact that like Braun Strowman's history is not as deep as John Cena's, so it wasn't gonna you can't really tell like a similar story to that, like referencing the past. Like we really only had those few months that he was in the Wyatt family to really go off of with his character. But I thought they did the best they could, and anytime like Bray Wyatt does these type of things, I'm always gonna tune in for it, man. Would y'all give a grade to this quote unquote match or swamp fight?
The one thing I have to say about this match is, I mean, like I really wasn't, when I was watching it, it was just like it was there. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it neither. Honestly, I wish they would have probably did this on like Raw. You know what I mean? Where it's not a title match, it's just a segment.
SmackDown.
Like, yo, SmackDown. Like, yo, hey, meet me here. Or, hey, Braun is going back home. Like, just anything to be like, oh, cool. And you could have did everything you did here and you didn't have to have a match. You could have had something where it's like, ain't nobody seen Braun since he been drowned. Like, where is Braun Strowman? You know what I'm saying? And you could have had this go. If this is a build up to SummerSlam, you could drag that, not drag it to SummerSlam, but that adds on to the story. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be a match. That could have just been a regular segment, and I think that would have killed it. Because like I said, I didn't hate it, but I really didn't like it. That's what was one of my worries with WWE and this whole cinema thing. Is where it's like we love the Boneyard match and we love the Funhouse so much, is that they would try to continue to do this to catch another one. And it's like, to me, like I said before, when those happen, I'm like, let's do these on special occasions. Yeah. To me, this match really didn't need that. Like I said, if this was a segment, like a regular just segment on a weekly show, dope. Or you could have opened the show with this, anything. Like this didn't have to be an announced match. You could have just had maybe Braun open the show like, I'm tired of this dude. Braun. Wait, breaking news. Anything like Braun is at the fun. Anything. It didn't have to be a match.
It was.
Yeah, I think what they could have did, they could have just had like Braun be like, "Yo, I'll see you at Extreme Rules. Like we're gonna settle this," and they just kind of come down. And he just kind of gets, because what they did, they kind of promoted this match throughout the pay-per-view anyway, like ran little vignettes, kind of like they would on TV. You know what I'm saying? So they did do that anyway. But
that to me, it kind of damaged it, because it's like, honestly, it seemed like it was more talking than it was fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could listen to Bray talk all day. Okay, cool.
Did y'all see the dude dressed up like Luke Harper?
Yeah. But I'm like, it's, y'all cutting these promos and you talking so much. Like, y'all promoted this as a fight. You know what I'm saying? And it ended as one, but it's like you're doing all this monologue and you're talking and everything like that. And all this setup stuff. Like, we only got this much fighting, and this is the main event segment. So you know what I'm saying? So when you look at that compared to a lot of the other cinematic stuff they did, you know, that hurts it. Plus all the promotion they did for it too.
And if it wasn't gonna be for the title, then you know
exactly.
Why Braun got the belt. But also some more interesting stuff happened this past week. At the end of SmackDown on Friday, Alexa Bliss became the latest victim of the Fiend. And I jumped out my chair. I was like, what the fuck? I was really shocked. But the Fiend continues to play mind games with Braun Strowman before SummerSlam. Latest victim is Alexa Bliss, as we all know. The history between Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman during the Mixed Match Challenge a few years back. Alexa Bliss popped up in the swamp fight. Where do y'all think this is leading to down the line? Guys, I know we talked a little bit in the group chat a little bit. Y'all come up with any more theories over the weekend?
Honestly, it's open. And that's what I like about it, because there's so many different ways you could take it. Like, Alexa could be, just bait to draw Braun out for the match at SummerSlam. Or you could flip it. Like, Alexa has been in that whole mean girl, half a face stage for so long. It's like she could use a freshen up in her character. And then if you look back at one of the old Firefly Funhouses, they had that doll that was pretty much resembling the exact way she was looking on Friday. So, like, you could bring her in on as a part of a stable or something like that, or she could be like the Lady Fiend or something crazy, So it's open-ended. There's a lot of possibilities now, and that's the good thing about it. But I mean, whichever way it goes, I'm with it.
He's stable.
He explained that perfect, and I'm with y'all. I want to see a stable. It's just who else can they bring?
I just need Jeff Hardy. I need Jeff Hardy as Willow.
TC, don't get me started, man. Don't get me started, man.
He posted the picture. He posted the picture, and I got hyped. I was like, "Yo, he ordered something with that."
You already know.
Because, I mean, if that happens, bro, that is going to be gold.
Mm-hmm.
Pure.
Let's get
gold,
Jeff back in the main event.
Yeah.
I don't care how.
That could be the start of it. That could be the start of it. Like, Fiend is more than likely probably going to win the Universal title back in a couple weeks. So, you might as well, get Jeff up there soon. Have him go after Jeff Hardy.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's potential.
And they also have
anybody else y'all want to see?
I'll go ahead, Zay.
Yeah.
I said they also have history through Matt, so they can play on that. I guess without saying Matt's name.
I forgot about that. See, it's
a whole bunch of your brother.
Cut the check, Vince.
Cut the check, man. Oh man, Vince.
Especially because like Jeff brought up his brother a few weeks ago and didn't even say his name, but he just mentioned we know who his brother is. Like,
yeah. At this point with the Hardy Boys, man, they could bring up each other names on each other's shows. Like they done did their stuff in the wrestling game. I mean, I'm so jealous right now, Reek. I've been kind of holding it.
I got one of them too. It's somewhere at my house. Back home.
I bought this at Mania.
I bought one of them in 2007. This is like when Jeff was really like starting to get pushed to the moon.
Yeah.
And so I bought one of them.
Hey man, YK Hall of Fame coming soon.
YK Hall of Fame, we call it the Young King's Throne over here. So Jeff Hardy already first member, but
first inductee, but we can't praise him enough, man. Can't praise him enough.
Yeah, you gotta praise the boy every show, man. I don't know who else I would want to see if they were to do a stable with the Fiend. I have no idea. I mean, Nikki Cross maybe that'd be a cool one, which is kind of what I thought was gonna happen. Like, but she got the hell up out of there on Friday. Like, she was hot. Like
she felt it coming. She was like, "Man,
no, she lost the title match. She was mad as hell. Like she lost her.
I said that too. I'm like, yo, because we were saying they backed into a corner here because now Nikki been on a string of losses, and it may or may not be too soon to try to drop the title off of Bayley because of that stable they got. But it's like if Nikki doesn't win the title, she got to snap. She got to go off, and it looked like that was going to happen, but they had something else planned for it.
I got an idea of one more person who could be in it. The Fiend's real life brother. Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
God damn it, Malik. I couldn't
That's a fact, though.
I mean, that's
might as well. He ain't doing shit else.
Oh my god!
Throw him in there.
Y'all release his tag partner. He just been there chilling.
That's
Y'all
what I'm
release
saying.
y'all
like,
release his dad on y'all release his dad IRS on tax day. Release his partner. Yo, the least y'all could do is just team him with his brother. Damn, like he ain't doing
Yeah.
that.
Like
I mean-
just until you said his name, like I really forgot he was under
Same.
contract. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think Vince did too, but so let's not remind him yet.
Thanks.
You don't seem too happy.
That was one of the worst pay-per-views I've seen in like a long time. A multitude of things, man. We're gonna get into it. But Dad, like I'm really just befuddled because like how the hell for the second year in a row have we had a Hell in a Cell match in no contest? I don't know. And I'm so confused about it.
Before we start everything, what did you think about the red lighting in the cage?
I didn't like it at first until like it grew on me after about like 5 minutes because I was like, this is actually kind of dope. Like I'm pretty sure that it wasn't an issue for the fans inside the arena, or they would have made themselves, would have made it known that they can't see shit. So it grew on me. I thought it was pretty dope for the Fiend's persona. It's not something I want to see them just do. I've seen somebody say on Twitter it's a good way to kind of evolve the cell because it's kind of, in the last 10 years that there's been a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, it's kind of fallen a little flat since they actually turned it into an annual show.
Uh-huh.
So it was a good way to kind of make it evolve a little bit, but the ending was so stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm never like, I'm never one of the fans is just like, WWE did this, blah blah blah. But like, damn, like this is like one of the first times I've really like ever just been disappointed at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's huge.
Wow.
That's saying something coming for you. I think you're a WWE fan enough. You're credible to say if something's good or not good. You know what I mean? And if you say
I
that
don't
this is
complain
not
about everything.
good,
Like people like to complain and nitpick over the little pettiest things. This instance is not one of those times. Even Kofi Kingston losing the title, I didn't think was one of those times. We touched on that a little bit, but like, damn, bro, like this, like, how do you have a cell match ending no disqualification? I mean, I thought it was a DQ, but it was a no contest. But like, how, like, one, the match was dragging on too long. One aspect of it I did like was that the Fiend like gets powerful with the more pain and everything that he absorbs. He just gets more powerful. Like that's some really dope character development. But like other than that, like the ending was just really ruined the rest of the match for me.
mm-hmm.
Let's get into this news. Biggest news of the week, and it just happened over the weekend. So Bray Wyatt has been released from his contract, and we don't know why. So I'm not going to speculate on anything at all. Stop speculating on why he left. Stop trying to make things about you just because you bitter about yourself getting released. Budget cuts? Nah, man. Like no corporation is doing a sole budget cut on a Saturday afternoon. That's just not how that works. So I think we could rule that out. But if we were to speculate as to why, I would just like to say maybe he doesn't want to be in the company anymore. And that's his prerogative. And that's really all I got to say about it. My main issue, though, is the reactions to it. Because it's making me upset. It's not upset. It's making me disappointed. I'm disappointed, a little bit embarrassed as a wrestling fan this past week because it's just like y'all been showing y'all ass for the latter half, for the whole latter half of this week, and is giving me that secondhand embarrassment, fam. So all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt gets released, and like I said, we don't know why. Maybe he asked for it. You saying that his talent was wasted? How did that work out? Where was his talent wasted? Where was his talent wasted? He's a 3-time world champion. He did win it 3 times. We might have forgot about the third one because it was only 7 days. But he's a 3-time world champion. This guy was heavily featured on television his entire run. Huge matches at WrestleManias, at other pay-per-views. This guy beat Kane in his debut as Bray Wyatt. This dude beat Finn Balor in his re-debut as The Fiend. And Finn Balor's a former Universal Champion himself. This guy got a win over Seth Rollins. This guy beat John Cena at WrestleMania just last year. And here's the one thing that I didn't really understand, bro. All these people talking about how his talent was wasted, how WWE didn't know what to do with him. They acting like they cared about Bray Wyatt just last year. Not even last year, just like 7 months ago. Because in order to do year-end awards, you got to wait till the end of the year. So the end of the year was 8 months ago, actually, right? 8 months ago, this man was voted on a certain fan poll on a certain newsletter by a certain somebody as the most overrated in all of wrestling. In all of wrestling. He was the most overrated for 2020. He was voted as the worst gimmick in 2020 as well on this same publication. I don't like the look you're giving me right now, bro. I don't like the look you give me right now, bro. I know it's not towards me, but I'm getting scared. So if you're watching on YouTube, just know like it was a look of death right now on the face of my mans. Because there's people out here calling Bray Wyatt overrated and the worst gimmick, and now they copping pleas because he got released. I don't understand it, man. Like I said, I'm embarrassed.
I'm gonna stay my anger right now because it's not an angry moment right now. It's a somber moment because the only reaction that I had was that this is just incredibly sad. We sat here and we've had these discussions plenty of times because I mean, past year and a half, it's been a running theme. I mean, in the time span from now throughout the last year and a half, I mean, with the amount of people they've cut talent-wise, I mean, you could have started a whole new promotion. This was the only one that legitimately bothered me. And it's not even for the reason that, for the aspect of it happening. It's just the fact of the community that we're in, which is what you were just talking about. Because there's certain things we got to take into account. And what I'm about to say is going to require a lot of people looking in the mirror. This man, if you were paying attention, because we were, through the last several months, this man was having a hard time mentally. Number one, lost one of his closest friends and has been struggling to cope with that ever since. Then you couple that with the fact that the fans, at least the ones that are toxic in nature, creating expectations and all sorts of shit that just cannot be met. Like no matter what you do, no matter how well you entertain people, no matter how much your genius is portrayed on screen, you cannot make these people happy. And there's always going to be some criticism or just unnecessary statements to be made by, of course, a lot of people at that certain newsletter, which needs to burn to the ground. There's people that want to just keep following this crowd because they take these people because they have names, they listen and they follow. Which I keep hearing the name. I hate the phrase cult a lot. It ain't just about WWE. There's a lot of other people out here that got cults behind them too. But I digress. That all of that put together put so much of a strain on this man that he elected to step away from performing. So, I mean, at this stage in the game, it's like you have to wonder where his head is at instead of, oh, Vince this, Vince that. It's like not everything is about fucking Vince. Like, it's time we really sit back and wonder, how does the talent feel? We cannot keep projecting our feelings and how we feel about a certain, release or whatever happens. We need to stop projecting how we feel onto these people because we're not the ones getting that pink slip. They are. They could be. Perfect example. Zack Ryder did the oral sessions. He did it with Chelsea. And he said verbatim, I was happy they released me. I was hoping they would release me when the cuts started happening. He is happy now. He's doing whatever he wants to. Creatively, he's got his own thing going. The man is in a good place. He knew it wasn't going to happen in WWE. He was happy. But people got mad. It's like, because we feel that way, it does not mean they have to. That projection shit is so, I keep saying it's mentally ill. It's really mentally ill. And for someone like Bray, who has done so much in terms of reinventing himself and giving us moments, stuff like that, that man does not deserve this shit. And this is the part, this is the accountability part. People are really gonna feel stupid and embarrassed if there ever comes a tell-all where he sits back and says, what if he decides to walk away? What if he decides, you know what, wrestling ain't it no more? I know I seen something on his IG. He's talking about something new coming, the Cult of Wyndham or whatever. Maybe that's in wrestling, maybe it's not. But if he says he wants to walk away, how stupid are y'all gonna feel if he ever comes out and says that? You know what? A lot of the stress had to do with it. A lot of this, being unable to please people no matter what I do. You know what I'm saying? The expectations just keep getting higher. It's like I do everything I can, but people are never happy. People are ungrateful at the end of the day. I dragged Ronda Rousey so bad when she started saying this shit when it comes to the fans. But she's right the more I think about it. Because, yeah, she was never supposed to be a smiley, happy-go-lucky person because that's not who she was in UFC. It's not what got her over. It's not what got her popular. But she was just doing what she felt was best for this new profession and using the notoriety that she had in the best way possible. No matter what you do within that, well, she was doing fine before the heel turn. I think she did better afterwards. But it's like, hold up. You still hear me, bro?
I hear you now.
Oh, shit. That cut off?
Like for 2 seconds, but you good.
All right, cool. Nah, but it's like no matter what you do, she was doing fine as a face. She did better as a heel, but it's like no wait, fans are toxic. It's toxic, and that's what you were saying before. It's like it's an embarrassment because like we gotta associate with y'all. But this is all like coming before. It's like, y'all got to take a look at yourselves and ask yourselves, what part are you playing in this? Because if he says that he wanted out of the company because he didn't want to deal with the pressure no more, that's on y'all. Plain and simple. Because
I said this man had the worst gimmick and he was the most overrated. After the previous year, y'all said he had the best gimmick. So, where's Daniel Bryan? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think we can call him that no more. Bryan Danielson, fickle.
Stop speculating. That's what I'm going to say too. Because we mentioned that. It's like the most important thing in times like these, in situations like this, getting back to Bray, the most important thing is to think of is, what is his mental state and is he okay? That's all I care about at this point. Because, again, the man has done entirely too much for all of us watching to be having to sit up here and have people pointing him in other directions, stuff like that. Let him get his life. The man is a father. He's got a family. It's like, there's things bigger than wrestling right now. And clearly, because, like I said, he's been going through a lot of shit. So consider how the talent feels. That's
It's
my
not
quote of the day.
It's not to mention the marital problems he was going through a few years ago that fans tried to be nosy in his business about to no avail.
He was dragging this shit. Like, and I hate that because it's like even another case of toxic fans. Why are we in this man's business at the end of the day? We don't know what his marriage, we don't know what the term, what situation was within his marriage. We don't know what was going on there. So what he decided to do is none of our fucking business at all.
Facts.
Clearly he did what made him happy. Him and JoJo got a baby together. I think they're still together now. So I mean, like, why are we in it?
Facts.
This is what I'm saying. Consider how the talent feels. That's my quote of the day. Consider how the talent feels. Shut the fuck up about everything else, please.
Facts.
Once again, shout out to DJ Paul for this, because if you thought that he wasn't going to hit you with one of them NXT show, the logo pops up and y'all think the show's over and everybody's about to get mad because, oh, we didn't get Bray Wyatt. Man, DJ Paul let y'all know, man, because the lights go out. Everyone starts putting their phone lights in the air because they know what's coming. You start hearing the rendition of "He's got the whole world in his hands." And then you see in the crowd a multitude of characters, human characters now, in the form of the Firefly's Funhouse characters. First, Mercy the Buzzard, Huskus the Pig Boy. What was the girl's name?
Abby the Witch.
Abby the Witch, yeah. Abby the Witch was in the crowd. The Rambling Rabbit showed up. And then, well, first there was I guess that was the Burnt Fiend whose face showed up on the commentary desk.
Yeah, it was the Burnt Fiend mask. After I can't remember like the order they showed everything.
Yeah.
It was either they showed the burnt mask on commentary first, and then they showed like the Fiend in the crowd, or it was switched.
Yeah, it was. I think I want to say it was the mask first, and then the Fiend showed up. Yeah, then the Fiend is in the crowd, and everyone had the first really big pop, and then of course they go through, take us through the Firefly Funhouse. It's all dark and decrepit. You got cobwebs all over the place. It looks like it's been like a horror crime scene that's been locked up for years. And basically, they're letting us know that this is kind of, shedding the skin of all those old gimmicks. And the door that's sitting at the front of the stage opens up. You see that lantern walking through, this masked individual. We all know who it is. He takes his mask off to the biggest pop probably since Mania when Cody Rhodes showed up. Bray Wyatt's back. He lets y'all know, blows that lantern out. Show goes off the air. That's an A+ moment if I've ever seen one. We all kind of figured this is who was going to show up when these, White Rabbit vignettes were popping up, but I mean, it keeps you engaged. The QR code thing with the videos and stuff, it was so wonderfully done. And it's proof that it can be obvious what's going to happen, and you can still just go through and do it and not swerve us. And we will still enjoy it. This is all the proof you need of that. Yes, we know who it is, or have a good idea who it is, but you can still continue to build up to it and create, some enjoyable moments for us. We create all these riddles that we can look at and, speculate about and stuff like that. You can still do all that and say, hey, we know you guys know, but here it is. Thank you, DJ Paul. I think the Infinity Gauntlet is officially complete now because that's everyone who was on that picture.
That gauntlet is officially completed. I get chills talking about everything that happened with Bray at Extreme Rules, but watching it again, entire body goosebumps because it is so well done. It has been months and months of this build with these QR codes, this White Rabbit stuff, keeping everyone online engaged, which is something smart that they've done. And like you said, we knew, or we had a very strong inkling that it was Bray Wyatt.
Mhm.
If it wouldn't have been Bray, I would have thrown hands. But it was because now we have more questions. We have, are the characters actual people, or were they just there for the night?
Right.
The QR codes are still happening. There was one on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Bray deserved that pop so much.
Mm-hmm.
This man has put, he is one of the most creative minds in wrestling right now. Everywhere. Any company, anything. That is one of the most creative people I've ever seen in my entire life.
I got him number one right now.
Like he has to be, because he has like that new like black phone type mask that he's kind of wearing, which creeps me out. But in a good way. Like, it's like the Fiend mask was terrifying, and I hated seeing that. But like this mask is cool, and it scares me in a good way. But I just love this moment so fucking much. And now Bray is like officially going to be like only on SmackDown, which means I have a chance to see him for the first time in December. Hopefully, he's still doing stuff. But it is one of the coolest moments I have seen in so long. I screamed. I gasped. I was sitting here in awe for the entire like 10 minutes that entire segment was. And I'm really sick of people comparing the pops. I'll go on a fucking rant. I'm so fucking sick of people comparing, oh, who had the bigger pop? Cody at Mania, Bray at Extreme Rules, or Punk's return? All of those, for different reasons, deserve the biggest pops that they got. Cody returning at Mania. We knew it was going to happen. It was still fantastic to see. Big pop. Your biggest show. Obviously going to happen. Bray. Been teased for months. We knew it was going to be Bray. Well, again, we had a very strong feeling it was going to be Bray. Like, creatively, that was one of the coolest things we've seen in a long time. Deserved the big pop. Punk returning after 7 years in his hometown. Obviously a big pop. Stop fucking comparing everything in wrestling. Not everything's this person or this thing is better than other thing or person. Just enjoy the moments that we're getting. It doesn't fucking matter. I can't stand the internet sometimes.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Literally why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, no, I agree too, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's all for us. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why you pit one against the other for what? Just for ranking, for some sense of satisfaction. Like who gives a shit? At the end of the day, it made you happy. It made me happy. It made us all happy. So, like you take it for what it is. It's one of the things, like you don't appreciate enough of what we see in the moment. Like all these people that say, "Oh, it's Michael Jordan or LeBron James." Like that, it's like you enjoy what you have while you have it, because it's not going to be here forever. None of these people are. None of these performers are. None of these moments are going to last forever. You enjoy them while you have them, because, like you said, they are well deserved. Cody deserved his flowers. Punk at a time deserved his flowers.
At that specific time, yes.
Yeah. And obviously Bray will always deserve his. So that's the important thing. That's what needs to get focused on, and enjoy it while we have it.